Rejected, throwing away, affected. I don't know what to say. Ejected, cast out to the sea, disconnected. They didn't want me.
And we're back with a brand new episode of Nicksmissal. I am Patricia, and I am here with admins Jonathan.
Hello.
And James.
Hi.
And today we're going to be discussing about a live-action series that for some reason or another was rejected. And it is none other than Flip Flops. Now, actually, Flip Flops was the last Nickelodeon show that I found out when doing research that was rejected. And it was really difficult to be doing any other research other than just this one article on tubefilter.com. So apparently there was this in-house studio that was done by Nick Cannon called the Chairman's Lab. And it was a developmental studio that TeenNick designed to create new properties that can work across other platforms. And in this case, we're talking about web series. And Flip Flops was one of them. They pitched it to Nick Cannon around, I think, 2009 or 2010. And then they were able to create at least up to 4 episodes, which range for about 5 minutes. And then for some reason or another, the Chairman's Lab was discarded completely, and Flip Flops was canceled from being featured on Nickelodeon. So today we're going to be discussing about the 4 episodes that were made on Flip Flops, and we'll post a link down below so you can be able to see it. So, what did you guys think of it?
I thought it was okay.
Okay, how about you, Jonathan?
It was a little okay, but at some points I thought it was a little bad.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. So it's about 2 teenage girls by the name of Kat and Molly, and they just go around and do everyday situations. They just go to school, and they play a bunch of pranks, and they just go through everyday things. One episode, it involved with Kat being embarrassed because she was wearing granny panties. Another one where Kat and Molly were lost along the way, so they asked these 2 completely different strangers who look like creepy hobos, and they hung out with them for the day. Another one was about kissing boys, that they were going on some sort of dare about kissing every boy that they don't know in the library. So, yeah, it would have been somewhat like just dealing with everyday situations, which in itself was actually kind of interesting because there hasn't been a Nickelodeon show that just dealt with everyday scenarios ever since Just Jordan back in 2007. Every other Nickelodeon live-action show that has come out after Just Jordan were focusing on things that every kid cannot relate to, such as True Jackson VP, which deals with a teenage girl who is like the vice president of some sort of big fashion corporation. Everything else that Dan Schneider creates, or any show that tries to deal with some sort of copycat of a Disney Channel program, it just feels unrealistic. And I think that Flip Flops would have tried to gone back to its roots of trying to create something more down to earth, but at the same time keep it silly, just like all the other shows that would have came out at the time.
I agree, actually, to be honest. I think that was the first show since, as you've said, Just Jordan, to do what it's done. For me, it was okay, as I've said, but it's nothing spectacular, and I think I could have lived without it being picked up.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The one thing that I did really notice when watching Flip Flops was that it had surprisingly a bit of swearing in it.
Seriously?
Yeah, they had a little bit of swearing in it. Like around episode 1 and 2, they said ass, and I think in one episode they actually said the word bitch.
Whoa!
Well, can I say something here?
Sure.
I think, like I heard somewhere, that Flip Flops was supposed to be airing on TeenNick.
Yes, it was supposed to be airing on TeenNick. The Chairman's Lab was supposed to be a new distribution studio that would have created some new shows, but in, different forms. And this one would have been probably a web series that would have been featured in TeenNick. I think, it was kind of like similar to iCarly, except that it was literally something that came out of the internet and then would have came over to TeenNick. Then eventually the Chairman's Lab was just either shut down completely or they did release a couple of shows, but Flip Flops just wasn't one of them.
Well, Hey Arnold actually had a few episodes where full of swear words, but they were very rare. But they had the odd swear in some Hey Arnold episodes. So
yes, that is true. Hey Arnold did use the word crap, and so did Ren and Stimpy, but never into this degree.
Oh yeah, so this was worse.
Yes, it was worse. If they would have transferred from the web series to TeenNick, I don't think they would have said the swear words.
Oh yeah, it would have been censored.
Yeah.
I actually think that it would have been, I don't know, it's not big loss that it did get picked up.
It would have probably been slated to be released around 2010. I don't know. I mean, 2010 is a pretty shaky year because, as for animation wise, 2010 was the year that animation was revitalized, in which, Phineas and Ferb, Adventure Time, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. This was when all the animated shows started coming out that were actually good. After, I think, some people debate that either 2006 or 2007 was when a lot of the shows, both live action and animated, were just going really downhill for Nickelodeon. And I can actually account this. Let's just say that almost every single show that I've seen thus far has been either mediocre or very, very terrible. I
agree. Phineas and Ferb started 3 years before then, but it did kick off the new animation renaissance boom. But then Adventure Time regular show, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Gravity Falls followed, and let's just say thank heavens that we're not in the 2007 period anymore. I think 2007 was a very weak year for Nickelodeon, and I think it hasn't helped that they haven't picked up shows like Adventure Time either. That's hurt the network as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a pretty decent attempt, but I think that it would have just been blend in with the crowd, and I don't think it would have been a popular show.
I agree to that a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I think that should be it for this episode. Tune in next time as we're going to be discussing about a spin-off series based off of a popular show that was almost going to come out but was rejected. So, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
And I got rejected one more time. And I got rejected. It's always on my mind. And I got rejected one more time. And I got rejected.